Morning, Abundant Life Creators. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. For all those that are new to this channel, I'd love to welcome you officially to Abundant Life Creation. My name is Emanuela Lumini. I am a child of God, a lover of His presence. I am a radiographer by profession. I am a certified mindset and personal development life coach, as well as a baker. So on this platform, Abundant Life Creation, I take time to share knowledge that is going to help you discover yourself, discover your purpose, discover your hidden abilities and potentials, as well as also share principles that are going to help you refine, define, and develop yourself to become the person that God has proposed you to be. So I'm a firm believer that it is God's desire for each and every one of us to become creators of the life of abundance that we desire. It's God's desire for all of us to live a life of abundance. However, He's given each and every one of us the responsibility to create that life of abundance, of course, in alignment with God's purpose for your life. So when we look at abundant life, it's not just about you focusing on growing in one aspect of our lives. God desires that we prosper in all things. We prosper in our mindset, in our health, in our relationship, in our finances, in our businesses, in our careers, in our spiritual life, in all aspects of our lives. So even when we are on this journey of developing ourselves, we should not just focus our attention on growing in one area. We're supposed to focus our attention in growing in all areas of our lives, because that is the only way we can be effective in manifesting the abilities and potentials, as well as the purpose that God has created us to fulfill here on earth. So in our previous videos, we have been talking about the aspect of mental health, how you can discover if you've actually been struggling with your mental health, how you can actually deal with it. But today I want to share my own experience on how I dealt with mental health, or some of the struggles that I went through in the aspect of mental health. So personally, for me, the battles of the mind have been one of the greatest battles that I've actually got to fight all my life. I have literally grown up or been a person that had really struggled with a negative mindset, low self-esteem, where I did not really believe in myself. I always felt that I was never good enough. I constantly found myself in a place where I was always comparing myself with other people, wondering why everybody else seems to be doing better or being great than I was. And I constantly belittled myself and never really saw myself to be anything great or anything better, so to say. So I constantly struggled with a negative mindset or thought process, or we can say belief system, where I constantly found myself in situations where I constantly told myself negative things like, okay, I'm not good enough, I'm a failure. I used to dread making mistakes. I used to dread making mistakes, because most of the times when I find myself in a situation where I'm supposed to do something and maybe I attempt to do it, but the moment that I make a mistake, I constantly used to beat myself about it, and I always used to consider myself a failure, because I was like, why is it that I'm always failing at this thing? So what I did not understand at that point is that there's a difference with you failing at something and you trying to identify yourself as a failure. All of us make mistakes, of which making a mistake is a normal thing. But my problem was that I was trying to personalize that mistake and more like identify myself as a failure. So I didn't have so much confidence in myself. I didn't have confidence to stand up and actually take up certain opportunities or go after my dreams or goals. I was literally in a place in life where I didn't have a vision for my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Of course, I knew that I wanted to go to school. I wanted to go to school, come out of school, get good grades, like, the normal basic things that everybody dreams about. Yes, I had that desire. But when it comes to the aspect of purpose, understanding and discovering yourself, I literally didn't have a vision for my life. I didn't even have a picture of what I wanted to do with my life, how those questions where people ask you, what do you see yourself in like 5 years, what will you be doing? I was literally a person who was visionless, so to say. And because of the inner battles that I was struggling with, and whenever I found myself in situations where I made certain choices and decisions, of which later on I realized that those choices and decisions that I made were actually bad, and they had a certain impact on my life. What happened in those moments is that I would beat myself about it. I would constantly find myself in a place where I was like, why did I have to make such a mistake? What is wrong with me? And I would be so down and broken to a point that instead of learning from the mistakes, or literally learning from the mistakes that I made, I would instead criticize myself for allowing myself to be in that place. I never gave myself a chance to actually grow or learn from the experiences that I went with, or that I struggled with. So that now started to affect my self-esteem. That actually started to affect the way I saw myself. That also started to affect the way I saw the world and I saw everybody else around me, because the fact that I used to see myself in a negative way. I thought everybody else around me was seeing me the same way I was seeing myself. So I wouldn't even carry myself with so much confidence. Pardon me. I wouldn't carry myself with so much confidence. Even when somebody looks at me and says, "Wow, I think you have potential in this," I would literally turn myself, like, talk myself down and say, no, I'm actually not capable of doing something like this. And that on its own actually affected me a lot, because I remember during my university my university years, because of these insecurities that I had about myself, I literally struggled when it comes to, in as much as, like, for example, I'm in a class and then they're asking us questions on they're asking us certain questions. Okay, the lecturer is teaching and asks us certain questions to say, okay, I need answers for these questions. I would literally find it challenging for me to just raise my hand and give out an answer, even when I know the answer. Why? Because I wasn't confident in myself, because I didn't think I had what it takes. I just didn't believe that anything good would come out of my life. And this is something that I literally battled with for a long time, until 2018, until 2019. I feel 2019 for me was like a turnaround that God really came through for me, because after the teachings that we got from the ministry that I've been attending, Oasis of Grace Ministries, and learning a lot more about identity, discovering your identity, discovering your abilities and potentials, I got to understand to say, oh, that means there should be so much more in my life. Like, God has literally placed so much more within me than what I have been able to see. So I embarked on a journey of personal growth and development. So, but at the beginning, so in this video, I would also literally state the path that I took on my own and how I went around with it. But then in the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to share how God actually came through to help me. So when I embarked on this journey of personal growth and development, I've always been one person who is very inquisitive. I love to read. I love to, it's like I have just this curious mind, and it's one thing that has always pushed me to seek after knowledge and try and find how do you do with it. So I was wondering, why do I think the way that I think? Why do I constantly have these negative emotions which constantly cause me to find myself in a place where I feel I'm not good enough, and I'm constantly battling within myself. Like, I literally used to find myself in a place where I want to give up on life, and I don't even see a reason why I need to wake up the following morning. Like, it was really that bad. I had lost the morale. I didn't even think that anything would literally come out from my life. So I was curious, why do I think the way that I think? What is wrong with me? Why do I act the way that I act? Why am I struggling I used to see other people and it seemed like everybody else seemed to be okay. But okay, in as much as I know everybody has their own struggles. But for me, it's like my inside was so toxic in a way. It was really hurtful. I was battling with so much on the inside, and I was wondering, why on earth am I going through all this? So I started reading and researching on mindsets, trying to discover what causes people to think the way that they think, and I started to understand as well as grasp the different type of mindset. And I realized to say, oh, so I have been a person who has got a negative mindset, or who had a negative mindset, and I was always pessimistic. Like, I had a negative perception about life and situations. Whenever anything is happening in my life, like, I would constantly always see the negative side of everything and would never see any positivity in anything that was going on. So that is something that I literally struggled with. But then when I started taking time to actually read and learn a little bit more about mindset, about emotions, how to deal with your emotions, how to deal with your mindset, how to deal with your belief system, and some of the things that actually cause people to think and act the way that they thought, I actually started to understand, and I took time to sit down and evaluate and see some of the situations from my past experiences while I was growing up that may have caused me to be where I am, or where I was at that point. And it really helped me, because it helped me discover why or some of the things that had happened in my childhood that actually caused me to be in the place where I was at that point, and why I was thinking that way, why I was feeling the way I was feeling, why I was looking down on myself, and why I was constantly in that place where I always thought like my life had no meaning, and nothing good would have come out of it. So in today's video, we're just going to end here, because I wanted to bring an introduction on some of the things that I struggled with when it comes to the aspect of mindset or mental health. So in the next video, I want to share with you people how I actually dealt with all this. However, for me, when I first started on this journey of dealing with my mindset and mental health, at the beginning I didn't really go at it the right way. But later on, God helped me go in the right path on dealing with my mental health. That has helped me reach this far. So if you're curious to actually know how I dealt with my mental health, please look out for the next video that is going to be posted soon enough. Be on the lookout. Turn on your notification buttons. Invite your family and friends to come through so that they can also like, subscribe, share this video, so that other people can actually be impacted. A lot of us youths are struggling with so much. We're struggling with so many things inside that we have not come out to talk and openly share the battles that we're struggling within us. And many of us are at the verge of giving up in life, and we just feel like, okay, this is the end. I don't see any reason why I have to keep going with my life. Why? Because you don't seem to see any solution out there for you. But I want you to know that whatever you are going through, that is not the end. God actually has something great in store for your life. There's something that God can do. Actually, there's a purpose that God created you to fulfill here on earth. But you need to deal with what you're struggling with. You need to allow God to step in and heal your inside. Of course, we're going to go through. As I share my story, I will also share how my mindset also affected different aspects of my life. So be on the lookout. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. Till next time, it's your lady and life coach, Emmanuel Lumene. Bye bye.